Just a rebel with a lightsaber dream. Lost my hand, lost my friend, lost my self-esteem.
Hi, it's been a while. It's been a while since we've done a let me explain type of video. So this is like my fifth, sixth time trying to record this. I was going to try to do it like how I do my lore videos, just like have clips playing with me, just talking. Didn't like the flow. Did not like it. I think I'm more comfortable doing let me explains while I'm talking to the camera, webcam, whatever. So yeah. So a lot of you guys have probably already clicked off this video or just hit not interested because of the title and the thumbnail. But yeah, it's true. I've fallen out of love with Dave Filoni, and it's it's kind of been a gradual thing. Um, so I guess we'll just go ahead and we will start off. First of all, I just want to put out there, most of my gripes and issues are coming from now getting more into writing, listening to more of the extended universe to just kind of, get ideas for writing and just writing in general. A lot of my gripes come from that. I guess we'll start off with what was my second point, but we'll make it the first point now. Dave has a massive problem of just blatantly disregarding even Disney canon, which I'm fine with disregarding Disney canon, but he's been on record saying that like when a New Dawn came out, like there's a forward from him that like for the first time in the Star Wars history, all the writers, video game developers, book authors, comic books, everything's going to fall under one continuity and one timeline. It doesn't happen. It just straight up does not happen. There's changes between the Ahsoka novel and what we see in Order 66 and the Siege of Mandalore from season 7 of Clone Wars. Blatant changes from the Bad Batch comics and Kanan comics, and it's just very disheartening, especially since I've gotten more into writing. That like, okay, hey, I just spent all this time and all this effort and energy writing these stories, and you guys are just gonna say fuck it. I'm gonna not necessarily undo, but I'm changing what you wrote, and it's like, bro, I kind of wrote that for a specific reason. Like I wrote it because that's what was like set up for me, and you guys are just gonna change it. Like that's just a big slap in the face to an author, comic book artist, fucking just anything. I mean, it kind of ties back to the original like tier canon. And I forget what channel it is, but they did a very good comparison while talking about the canon hierarchy, G canon, C canon, T canon, fucking D canon, fucking non-canon, whatever. The example they use, and I'll even put a clip in, is say there's a big shot director that comes in. Okay, and since Disney has not established their own hierarchy canon, so we'll say that we'll go by George Lucas's canon. Movies, TV shows, that is canon. Well, what happens since y'all haven't cared to set up something like that, or you guys just blatantly disregard everything? What happens if there's a big shot director that comes in, wants to direct a mall show or direct a mall fucking movie because he loves the setup that they did for Solo, and Solo kills him? Well, that just undoes everything that Rebels set up, and you're just gonna have to fucking deal with it because the movies outdo the TV shows. Like, I don't know, y'all. It's very fucking irritating that just nothing. I mean, I understand George did not keep up with continuity. I mean, for fuck's sakes, Owen is pretty much written to be like Anakin's blood brother, and then come the prequels, they're stepbrothers. I mean, there's massive continuity errors. I mean, the whole Yoda training Obi-Wan statement, and then Qui-Gon Jinn trains Obi-Wan. I mean, that's kind of a continuity issue, not really. I mean, Yoda did train multiple Jedi throughout his years, so of course he's going to teach Obi-Wan in a lesson. Um, but it's just little small shit like that with George. But and everybody loves to say that George did not consider the Legends novels canon or anything. Sure, they were not a part of his story, but he was still massively involved. They had lore masters, so that way stuff didn't contradict. Yes, okay, the EU contradicted itself multiple fucking times. There's like 10 stories about how Han got the fucking Falcon from goddamn Lando. But, and don't get me wrong, the power scaling fucking off the goddamn charts. That shit's kind of fucking insane. But George was still involved. George would tell them, yes, no, you can't use this. Okay, go ahead. That doesn't contradict with my sandbox. It's like, okay, that's George's sandbox. You guys are playing with his characters. He gets the final say on yes or fucking no to make sure that it does not clash with what they set up. And there's a whole thing, I guess, about I'm new to this one. I guess Jango Fett is not a Mandalorian according to the new canon. That probably just went right over my fucking head. And there is shit that definitely went over my fucking head. And it just, I might be sounding like a negative fucking Nancy, might just be talking out of my fucking ass, but I did research. Like, I've talked to multiple people. I've done the research. I mean, he's even been stated saying, I tend to look at it a bit like Arthurian tales, to be honest, and how depending on what version you're reading in translation, they can be wildly different. But Arthur's usually Arthur and does the things he's supposed to do. Those things remain true. And that's very much folk tale and fairy tale type of ideology. If we tell a story in animation or if it's a comic, we bring it to screen in a different way, we might make changes to it out of the medium, out of the bias of the person making it, but should still maintain the heart and important moments of what people liked about that story. I can somewhat see that, but that only makes like a lick of sense to me if you're taking, say, like what they're doing. Obviously, what they're setting up is they're going to take the Heir to the Empire book, potentially trilogy, and they're gonna adapt it. That's fine. I mean, there's gonna be changes here and there as long as you get the main part of the fucking story across. But at the same time, people have grown up with these books and stories that have been around since you were even before you were at Lucasfilm. I mean, it's kind of where you get into, how am I trying to say this? It's very muddy waters because, at least for me, because on one hand, I love these EU stories. But at the same time, I want to let Dave cook. And I don't know if it's Kathy forcing his hand to make some of these decisions, but I know a lot of my issues with like the Ahsoka show and Ahsoka as a character and what he does with his own original characters, that's all on Dave. That's nothing to do with Disney. That's fucking Dave. But it just, I don't know, man. Why do I bring this up if I've only read the limited Legends novels, mainly involving Luke or the Old Republic in my library? It doesn't just affect how the fans view them and how they view canon, but to me, it's like an open invitation to just kind of make whatever the fuck you want and just slap a Star Wars logo over it. I mean, I've made this comparison multiple times. It to me, it feels like writing and working at Lucasfilm is like the McDonald's entry level job. Like you go to write for Star Wars so you can write your own movie or so you can write for Marvel or write for DC or something like that. And it shouldn't be like that. Star Wars should be one of the most tight niche fucking, you have to know your goddamn shit in order to fucking work here. But it's not. They just hire any and every fucking body. I mean, it's ridiculous. It is absolutely fucking ridiculous. And like I put in my script over here that I'm kind of like going off of every now and again, but I put in air quotes because to me, like I made this quote up and to me it reigns true within Dave and Disney and everybody over there at Lucasfilm is, it doesn't have to be good to the fans. It just has to be good to us. That's not how the fuck it should be. You need to make sure that your fans are engaged, that your fans love the story, making sure, don't overdo it with fan service. Okay? Just don't. You don't overdo it with fan service. Little things here and there, you dangle the fucking keys, but you do that with like cameos. You don't fucking dangle like, oh, we might be adapting Heir to the Empire. Hey, we might be doing this. And then you don't do it, or you dangle stupid shit like the Asajj arc in goddamn Tales of the Underworld. What was the point of that? What did she give up to come back to life? Can she not? Outer Rim says this every time. Is she not allowed to talk to Quinlan? Is she not allowed to see Quinlan? Is she not allowed to love Quinlan? Like, what the fuck did she give up to come back to life? Oh, it's all open. It's all open ended. It's just tall tale, bro. You created this. You need to kind of fucking explain some shit. You can't just leave it all up to the Force works in mysterious ways. George at least fucking came up with some half-ass fucking answers. Don't worry, I'm gonna make a video of the issues I have with George too. The biggest reason the people hated and still do hate the prequels is because George had no one there to help him write the scripts or to tell him to fuck off when he went too far in a few places. Sure, he realized that on his own, but you look back at the original trilogy. Lawrence Kasdan, dialogue and pacing. Marcia Lewis, film editor, and made massive changes and adjustments. Alan Dean Foster expanded on the backstory of the Emperor for the novel for the first film, for A New Hope. You don't have to do everything yourself, Dave. You can stand on your own 2 feet and make it good. You just need to find your own footing and stick with it. I can't tell you how many times I've reached out to just about everybody for feedback on the Shroud of Darkness trilogy. The Malverse Balin What If. I can't tell you how many people me and Outer Rim have gotten to read that story so they can give us fucking feedback. We need feedback so we can make changes to the story, add stuff to the story. Maybe we forgot this. Maybe we didn't include this. You got to get feedback from people, man. And you can't, it's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt you, and it's not going to hurt the story. But now, back to what my first topic here, which is now, I guess, my second topic, because I pretty much explained everything about Dave and his disregard for canon and all that. Like, it's just a big slap to the face. Okay? So it's, as a writer, like, if I were to ever get to the point where Lucasfilm were to ever reach out to me and want to, be like, hey, you want to write a story for us? I'm going to turn them down. Because what is going to be the point of me putting all this time, effort, and energy into something, into telling the story the way that it's meant to be fucking told with what they've set up for me? And then they're just like, yeah, we're changing it. And then they don't even consult you. I mean, look at what happened with, I forget her name. I'll put the name in the author of the Wayseeker novel. That novel is not supposed to be what it is. It's supposed to be something completely different. She was 80% of the way through writing that book when she started getting messages about Vernestra being changed in the Acolyte. It's just very disheartening. Like, I would never want that to happen to me. So it's like, I hate seeing it happen. Especially whenever it's something like he even says, he's like, if you want to write something with Ahsoka, you have to consult me. Like, I am the final decision, yes or no. You can't do this. You can do this. You can use this. You can't use that. And then they did that with the Ahsoka novel, which is fucking fantastic. And then it's changed. It's changed. I mean, Order 66 is completely fucking different. Order 66 happens while Ahsoka is still on Mandalore. Rex has already taken out his inhibitor chip, and they're going up against Maul. Maul does his fucking thing, and he gets away. Completely different. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love season 7 of Clone Wars. I love that fucking mall hallway scene. I mean, who fucking doesn't love that shit, bro? And see, that's the issue. Is like you can love something and you can also be very fucking critical about it. Like I absolutely love Star Wars. Am I critical of this shit? Yes. I mean, there's shit even in Revenge of the Sith that just doesn't make fucking sense. Padme fucking dying of sadness. That's fucking dumb. That's fucking stupid. The whole balcony scene, no, no, it's because I'm so in love with you. Bro, I'm sorry. I mean, I get that I used Anakin's not sand monologue, but the monologue that he uses in Attack of the Clones whenever Padme's in her sexy black dress. Ooh, fucking I used that and got my girlfriend. I tried to use that balcony scene and it's cringy. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, I'm sure she was like, "Oh, it's kind of cute," but like, as soon as I sent it, I was like, "Ooh, it's kind of weird. People don't talk like that." But that's besides the point, man. There's, I kind of forgot where I was going with my point. But so we'll reel it back in and we'll talk about the first topic on my list here. In the script, the first real issue that I have is that Dave goes completely out of his way to make sure that his original character survives shit that they don't, that they shouldn't, that they should never fucking survive. I mean, I'm sorry, bro. Like, okay, Mortis, I'll give it a pass. That's Force Gods. Ahsoka died, came back, fucking Force heal. It kind of plays into, the whole thing of Anakin, wanting to save Padme from death, save his mother from dying. And, of course, Mortis, all your Force powers are amplified and he's the fucking chosen one. But he didn't do it himself. He had the help of the Father, a Force God. So I can get past that. I can excuse that justification right there. So, but later, George wanted Ahsoka dead, gone. See you later. By fucking Revenge of the Sith. No, no, no. Can't do that. Can't do that. No, no. Dave had to make a whole fucking loophole to where she leaves the Jedi Temple. So she's not around for Order 66. But then brings her back for Order 66. Why did you even have her fucking leave? And then not to mention, season 7 dropped. And we're like, how the fuck did Ahsoka survive Order 66? Because I mean, obviously, she was in Rebels before season 7. But how the fuck did she survive that? And they made a whole Tales of the Jedi arc where she uses the same maneuvers against the clones that she fights in Order 66. That's just, I mean, don't get me wrong, bro. Like, you're attached to your fucking goddamn original characters. Brother, I made 3 original characters for the Shroud of Darkness. 1 survives. I've made 4 original characters for this whole story, and 1 survives. George, the entire fucking prequel era, is his goddamn fucking original character. Gone. Jedi's dead. Peace. See you fucking later. Goddamn Jedi Masters. Council fucking Masters at that. But she's not even a Jedi Knight. She's a fucking Padawan. And these fucking Masters are getting taken out left and right, but she survives. And then she goes up against Vader. Most people who go up against Vader do not survive. Ezra saves her in the World Between Worlds. Plucks her right out of a fucking portal. And I mean, to me, that would have been more emotional if she realizes that Anakin is Vader. Vader realizes that Ahsoka has survived. She breaks through to him. Just a second. Just a fucking second. Just a smidge. Just a smidge. You see the Sith eyes turn back to blue for just half a second. She's like, I won't leave you. Not this time. Then you will die. And he just slashes her down in fucking cold blood. Maybe I'm just a morbid fuck. Maybe I just got a fucked up mentality, but I think that would have worked a lot better than Ezra randomly saving her. Because then he can't save Kanan for some reason. And the whole World Between Worlds deserves its whole own video. because this video is almost 25 minutes already. But it's just, so he pulls her out of the world between world, and then he does it not once, but twice, bro. Anakin saves her, brings her into the world between worlds. And now, don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. I love episode 5 of Ahsoka. I love it. We get to see Hayden Christensen back, and they did him way better than they did in the Kenobi series. But she lost. She should have died. She lost to Balin, she lost to Vader, and the world between worlds both times has saved her. That is absolutely fucking ridiculous. And don't get me wrong, it was awesome. But what was the lesson that he goes to teach her? To live or die? Bro, that's a great lesson if you're 12. Fucking, what happens if she chooses not to live? What happens if she chooses not to choose? You see why what happens if she chooses not to choose? What happens then? What happens if Ahsoka is stuck in the world between worlds because she never learns her fucking lesson? You see why you can't leave it up to interpretation, Dave? Because then he would come up with some way to fucking bring her back again. And don't get me wrong. I love the Ahsoka show. It's not as good as whenever it first came out, in my opinion. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not nearly as bad as Andor Season 2. I'm working on a rewatch of Andor Season 1. Y'all might not like what I gotta say. So, we'll keep that for another video. But, just rewatching these shows and the movies for the updated ranking video that I'm planning on doing, it's good, but it's not as good as it could have been. Like, I'm more invested in Balin and Shin than I am Thrawn and the Old Republic, or Thrawn and Ahsoka. Like, I really want to explore, the mystical side of the Force. And I think that's what they're going to do with Balin, and I really hope they nail that out the park. But I'm not going to lie. If Ahsoka dies in season 2 and comes back, I'm done. I'm done with Dave. I'm done with anything Ahsoka. Like, I can't stand, the Chosen One. The fucking Chosen One dies of electricity and taking off his mask for fresh air. Ahsoka has survived death 3 fucking times. It's just, I don't know, man. She's just overstayed her welcome for me. And, this next little one is just a smidge towards Dave, but it's mainly towards Lucasfilm because of everything that's gone on. Why the fuck is The Acolyte the only show that they've given us that shows lightsaber stabs being deadly? Why the fuck does it only work on High Republic Jedi, Qui-Gon Jinns, and Steel Doors? You're going to sit here and tell me that Naboo, that rich planet Naboo, sure, it's not Coruscant, but it's fucking Naboo, didn't have any medical supplies to help Qui-Gon? No medical droids anywhere? Nowhere. No Bacta at all whatsoever. No Force heal from Obi-Wan. But yet Rey can Force heal everybody. A fucking random ass medical center on Lothal that can save Sabine? Somebody who has the lowest midichlorian count, because it's not M count, of the entire Jedi Order that Hu Yang has seen in the last 25,000 fucking years? That doesn't make sense to me. That's stupid. And then this next one, I don't know if it's Dave. It's towards Dave, but it's not entirely Dave. Not everybody has to be a fucking Force sensitive, Dave. Looking at what he did with Sabine. Sabine was badass in motherfucking goddamn Rebels. Okay? She was badass. Sure, she comes from the line of Pre Vizsla. Sure, she could be the next Mandalorian Jedi. But why? They already got Grogu doing that. Grogu's definitely going to be a Mandalorian Jedi, because they're not getting rid of fucking Grogu anytime fucking soon. Actually, I don't know. They might. I mean, for fuck's sakes. I mean, this is another little small pinpoint. Dave and John did not do Luke right. Luke Skywalker, of all people, should not be making people choose between learning to be a Jedi and their attachments. That just doesn't make any fucking sense. And that is completely out of the character for Luke Skywalker. But that's the continuity that they're going to keep with because Luke is a goddamn bitch ass hermit in the fucking sequels. It's just. But back to Sabine. Back to Sabine before we get too off topic. In my eyes, the Darksaber arc was basically showing her that she doesn't need the Force. She's badass as is. Once she overcomes herself, she is badass. She can do this. She can handle it. And why the fuck would she work with Ahsoka? Ahsoka gave up on her training the first time, didn't let her warn Mandalore about the Night of 1,000 Tears, and her family died because of it. So, yeah, why the fuck would you go to work with Ahsoka again? That just doesn't make any sense to me. But the biggest thing about making her Force sensitive is it just, to me, it dilutes her character. She was badass before, like I've said a million times. We look at the original trilogy. People love Han Solo. And it's not because he's a secret Jedi. It's not because he's secretly Force sensitive. The guy doesn't even believe in the fucking Force, despite Chewbacca working with Yoda and the Jedi in the Clone Wars. So there's that. The first thing he does when he meets Vader is pull his blaster out and start shooting. He has amazing reflexes. He's a hell of a fucking pilot. Sure, yes, it's because the midichlorians and the Force, the midichlorians are within everybody, and like with karate practice, you can get better and better. And I know that's the attempt that they were doing with the Sabine, but there was literally like very little fucking training. She goes from wanting to move a cup to not being able to move the cup to yeeting Ezra that fucking far. It just doesn't, it bothers me. It fucking bothers me. And it really just like kind of taints the story for me. But like I said, I'm looking forward to Ahsoka season 2. I am willing to see what Dave can come up with. I'm looking forward to the mall show. Very cautiously looking forward to the mall show because of some statements that they've made. But overall, I don't hate Dave. I don't hate Ahsoka. I don't hate his work. I don't hate Ashley. I don't hate Rosario. And I don't hate the people who play Sabine. I'm sorry, I can't remember her name and the voice actress, but I don't hate them. I just have these gripes and I needed to get off my fucking chest. Do I wish that shit was different and went differently with these shows and movies? Of course, abso-fucking-lutely. But there's nothing I can do about it except make these silly little videos bitching and moaning about a goddamn space fantasy about family issues, laser swords, and space magic. So, anyways, if you'd like to hear me bitch and moan for the last 30 something fucking minutes, go check out my other videos, go check out my lore videos, go check out the rest of my channel, and may the Force be with you always. Peace.